Might as well have gotten that backdrop out just for that moment. Hello, super friends, and welcome back to another episode of Superhero Saturday, where we talk about the arts of superheroes, storytelling, and so much more. My name is Annie, and welcome to my new set with the cool new backdrop that I found in an old box of high school or college stuff that I was going through the other day. Look, we've even got Superman represented, we've got Batman represented, and even Wonder Woman over here, so super cool? Yay or nay? Thoughts? Still working on the lighting situation though, so we'll get that settled. Anyway, today we are going to talk about how to create a character with super strength. Characters with super strength have been around almost as long as the superhero genre itself. Characters like Superman, Wonder Woman, the Hulk, Black Panther, and more have wielded their superhuman musculature for the good of mankind. And others like Bane, Juggernaut, Bizarro, and more have wielded it for destruction. And even more characters have used it for neither good nor ill, or maybe even both. Either way, this is one of the archetypal superpower types that has been around for ages and is bound to stick around for longer because even though it's basic, it's really cool. The thing is that not every character with super strength has been totally thought all the way through. Sometimes they don't even make sense in the world that they've been created into. So if you're interested in creating your own super strong character, whether that is a hero or a villain, here is a quick little step-by-step tutorial / thought process thing to help you get a fully fleshed out character with a power set that makes sense in the world that you're creating. This is just a tool that I use to dig in a little deeper, and I hope that it helps you with your superhero or supervillain creations. As with many of my creative tutorials / things like this, you don't have to go step by step through all of the questions, but I do recommend thinking about each of them in order. Because even though inspiration can strike you anywhere and you might start anywhere in the process, thinking about all of these different things will help you get a better feel of your character and understand the parameters of their powers and even maybe the implications of these powers on the character's story arcs. It could even bring you some new spark of idea to get you thinking even deeper about your character in a way that you didn't think of before. So with that out of the way, let's get started. The first thing that I like to think about when designing a character with some kind of superpower, and it can be any superpower, it doesn't have to be super strength, is how is this power implemented? For example, is your character genetically mutated to have muscles that are stronger than the average human being? Did they get a magic talisman that endows them with strength beyond the physical world? Is it some kind of science experiment that went wrong, or maybe right? Or is it a manifestation of their own willpower and chi to manipulate the forces of the world at hand? This usually ties into the character's origin story and kind of the explanation of where this anomaly came from. So it's definitely something that you want to consider when creating a character with superpowers. The next thing you want to think about are the pros and cons of having this superpower. For the pros of super strength, you want to also dig in a little bit to the parameters of the super strength and its limitations. The character themselves may not know their upper limits, but you as the creator should, because then that gives you kind of a better understanding of the scope of this character and what they can and can't do. For my own personal preference, I like to add just a splash more realism to a character with super strength and also give them some kind of super durability. Because if you think about it, if your body can exert so much force that's more than, say, normal, then your body should be able to take that amount of force without crumbling underneath it. That's like a character lifting up a 10-ton rock and then immediately being squished by it. That makes no sense. So adding a little bit of durability kind of makes that continuity a little bit more coherent and gives your character something that's a little bit different than just super strong as their defining character. Of course, thinking about it realistically doesn't always work because I am not a scientist and I don't understand physics that well. But if you take a 1-ton boulder and pinpoint it onto just the soles of your shoes, then there's probably gonna be a little bit of a crack in the ground, at least of some kind. So depending on what level of realism you wanna go for, pick and choose and try and make it consistent. Because if it's at least consistent, then the audience can follow along and not worry about the physics of some fictional story. Next, you want to consider the cons, or the limitations of your super strength. This is the time to think about your character's kryptonite. This one can be really interesting because a lot of people just honestly don't think this all the way through to the con step. So if you do, that can give you a whole new range of story elements and concepts that you can work with that haven't been seen very often before. For example, can your super strength only be used under certain situations? Do they have to work out like an ordinary human being to increase their strength, or can they? Is there some element that will take away their super strength, or something that they just can't do that one might expect them to be able to do? Can your hero only access their super strength under certain conditions? Like only when they get a chance to power up? It might seem kind of weird at first to think about a character's weaknesses right away when you're building their superpowers, but it's this weakness and relatability that makes a story compelling. It gives us the ability to change the world at any given time and subvert the audience's expectations. Like they think they know that this character can lift anything, but all of a sudden throw some styrofoam at them and they completely crumble? Like what the heck? That seems unexpected. Plus, it helps keep your character from feeling too overpowered, so unless that's what you're going for, it's really important to give your character some kind of fail-safe. For example, I have a super strong character who is only able to access her super strength after she's been going really fast somewhere. So she has to charge up her super strength to be able to use it. So for situations where she doesn't have the chance to power up, she can't access those powers, and that gives her that vulnerability that draws an audience in. It just makes the character a little bit more unique. The next step that you want to take is to think about what the effects are of having this super strength on the character's life and their plot. How does living with super strength affect your character? For example, do they feel like they're living in a world made of cardboard like Superman and they have to restrain their strength all the time? Or is super strength something that they activate accidentally when they push too far? Does this character pretend that they're a weakling in real life? And for super strength, what does that look like on their body when they're carrying that superpower? Because a lot of times a super strong character can often get depicted as a bodybuilder type, which is great if you don't really think about it because typically bodybuilders are pretty strong. But real human strength doesn't actually look like some kind of chiseled Superman type figure. You can be any body type and be super strong. And if your character's super strength is derived from chi or from magic or from something completely supernatural, then it doesn't even make sense that the super strength would be connected with their body type. And then what other effects does it have on their regular, ordinary, everyday life? And that kind of leads us into our final point, which is to be creative. And think about all sorts of different things that you can do to make your own depiction of a super strong character unique. This is where your character can stand out because anybody can really be super strong if you inject them with super soldier serum. But what does that mean when you choose your specific character and give them super strength? What do they do when saddled with the strength to move mountains? How does this affect your character's relationships with other people, or with their behavior, or with their thought process? Does your character have more than one superpower? And then how do those superpowers interact with each other and with the character's life? Is this your typical run-of-the-mill Superman strong type of thing, or is it something different? These are decisions that you can make as the creator, and think about it in conjunction with your own experience of living. Like, what if you had super strength? How would it affect all of the things that you do on an ordinary, everyday basis? So there you have it. Those are my tips for thinking through the process when you're creating your own character with super strength. Did you find this video very helpful? Is there anything else that you would think about maybe when you're processing a character and building up you know, what they're going to look like in your unique world? Do you have other examples of characters with super strength that have been used in a different way than one might expect when just describing them as super strong? Go ahead and put those in the comments below and let me know if this backdrop is working for you guys. Also, we now have more than 300 subscribers on Superhero Saturday. That is so awesome. So if you're new, welcome to the channel, and we're so glad you've joined the team. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, if you would go ahead and give us a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already to see more superheroic content every single Saturday. You can join the team by following us on social media and supporting us directly by going over to our page on Patreon. And if you want to see my own super strong characters in action and maybe get some new favorite superheroes into your brain, you can go to our website at www.fearless9.com to check out my books. Thanks again for watching, Super Friends, and we'll see you next week.